ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरकृष्णे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining our reading of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. So, we are discussing the Adi Khanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. And last Saturday, we completed chapter 4, where we discussed towards the end the wonderful pastime of little Nimai, who is 2 to 3 years old, and how he was kidnapped by the two thieves. So now we go to chapter number 5 of the Adi Khanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya Prabhu Vishwambhar Dhwaja Vajrankusha Pada Mahamaheshwar. It's very beautiful Mangala Charan. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya Prabhu Vishwambhar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name is Vishwambhar because he maintains the whole universe. So Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya, Lord Vishwambhar, who is the beloved of all the devotees. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Priya Prabhu Vishwambhar Dhwaja Vajra Ankusha Pada. His lotus feet are marked with Dhwaja, flag, Vajra, thunderbolt, and goad. Goad is the elephant goad, the Ankush used to control the elephant. Maha Maheshwar, and he is the Lord of all the lords. What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvan mam shantim gacchati. Krishna says only that person can achieve peace who knows me as the enjoyer, bhokta, as the enjoyer of bhoktaram yagya tapasam, of all the sacrifices and all the austerities. Krishna is the enjoyer of everything. And sarva loka maheshwaram. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am sarva loka maheshwaram, means he is the Lord of all the planets. And here same thing our Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he is Maha Maheshwar, which means he is the Lord of all the Ishwars. Text 2. He namate ache Prabhu Jagannath ghare alakshite bahuvidha swaprakasha kare. He namate, in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alakshite bahuvidha swaprakasha kare. Jagannath ghare, in the house of Jagannath Mishra, in his father's house, in this way, our little Nimai, Vishwambhar, he manifested many secret pastimes. Many secret pastimes he did. Every day, Nimai would perform unlimited pastimes. It is not possible to describe. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says in the future, Vyasdeva will write another Chaitanya Bhagavat where he will describe many more pastimes of Nimai. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. Goswami Tulsidas ji says in Ramcharitmanas, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. Krishna is Ananta, he is unlimited, and therefore his pastimes, his Leela is also unlimited. Hari Katha is unlimited. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he started a daily magazine, a daily newspaper in Calcutta. And some Indians, they asked that Prabhupada, how will you be able to manage? Because every day, what is there to write about Krishna? Usually, the magazines are fortnightly or monthly, or even more. So, how will you come out with a newspaper or a magazine every day? What will you write? What is there to write so much about Krishna? So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that in a small city like Calcutta, there are 5 or 6 local newspapers. Every day they print so much news. And Calcutta is just one city in India, which has got many cities like Bombay, Delhi, Madras, Chennai. And India is just one country. There are hundreds of countries, more than 250 countries in the world. And there are countries that are much bigger than India also. And this is just on Earth planet. There are so many planets in this universe. And this is just one universe with a 4-headed Brahma. But there are universes bigger than this universe. And all these millions of universes are like small mustard seeds, sesame seeds on the head of Ananta. And this whole material creation is just 1/4 of the spiritual world. Spiritual world is 3 times bigger than this material world. And we are talking about the pastimes, the Nitya Leela of the spiritual world. So if one city, small city like Calcutta has got 5 or 6 newspapers, what to speak of the news of the spiritual world? One spiritual newspaper every day is insufficient. There is so much to write about Krishna and Krishna's Leela. So Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. So Mahaprabhu, as little baby Nimai, 2-3 years old, every day he would perform unlimited pastimes. They are not recorded anywhere, so we don't know. But when we enter Mahaprabhu's Leela, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we will be able to witness very beautiful pastimes of Nimai. Ekadina dake bole Mishra Purandar, Amara Pustaka Ana Bapa Vishwambar. So one day, Jagannath Mishra told his son Nimai, Ekadina daki bole Mishra Purandar. Our Jagannath Mishra, he told his son Vishwambar, Amara Pustaka Ana Bapa Vishwambar. Oh, my dear Vishwambar, Bapa, Vishwambar, Bapa is an affectionate as well as respectful address. So, my dear child, my Priya child, my dear son, please go and fetch that book for me. Don't we tell our children such chores? Arey, go get that. Good. So, similarly, Jagannath Mishra told his son Nimai, not realizing that Nimai is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. बापेर वचन सुनी घर धैया जाए, ऋणु झुनु करिए नुपुर बाजे पाए. Bapera Vachana Shuni, hearing his father's order, hearing his father's command, little Nimai, he went running inside the house to carry out the orders of his father. And when he went inside, Runu Jhunu Kariye Nupura Baje. Suddenly, Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Mata, they heard Runu Jhunu Runjun Runjun Runjun, the sound of the ankle bells of someone from inside the house. There was no one inside the house. But when Nimai went inside, they suddenly heard ankle bells. This was very mysterious. Mishra bole kotha shuni nupurera dhvani chaturdike chaya dui brahmana brahmani. The Brahman and Brahmani, Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Mata, they started looking chari dike. They started looking in all the four directions. Where is this sound of ankle bells coming from? Where is the sound of ankle bells coming from? Amara putrera paye nahi ka nupura kothaya bajila vadya nupura madhura. Our son is not wearing ankle bells. So where is the sound of ankle bells coming from? It was a great mystery. So Jagannath Mishra is saying, Amara putrera paye nahi ka nupuro. Our son doesn't wear any ankle bells in his feet. But as he went running inside the house, we could hear ankle bell sound. This is mysterious. Where is that sound coming from? Ki adbhuta dui jane mane mane gane vachanana spure dui jane ravadane. Both considered this incident as very adbhut, very strange, very wonderful. Ki adbhuta. And they could not understand what was causing the sound of ankle bells. So they just couldn't, they didn't know what to say. Vachanana spure. They couldn't think what to say. There is a sound coming from. We are looking everywhere. It is, we don't know where it's coming from. Unthi diya prabhucha lena khelaite ara adbhut dekhe giya grihera majhete. In the meantime, little Nimai, he went inside the house and he got that book that his father was asking for and he brought it. The Lord gave the book to his father and then immediately, Chalilena khelaite. Immediately he went outside the house to play, to continue his playful pastime. So he performed the chore that his father wanted him to do very obediently and then he went out to play. But then, Ara Adbhut Dekhe, another miracle took place. Another miracle took place. Do you all want to know what that miracle was? So these are very sweet pastimes, my dear friends. Little Nimai is at the beck and call of his dear parents. Doesn't it remind us of Krishna Leela, Shri Krishna Leela, where Nanda Baba once told Kanha, go and get my sandals, go and get my shoes. And the shoes of Nanda Baba were big, and our Kanha had just learned how to walk. So he was hardly 1.5 year old. So the sandals were very heavy. So he put them on his head and he started walking towards Nanda Baba and he brought the sandals, carrying the sandals of his devotee on his head. Hare Krishna. Such wonderful pastimes. This is love, my dear friend. This is bhakti. Therefore, bhakti, Srila Rupa Goswami describes in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that one of the characteristics of pure devotional service, not the bhakti that we are practicing. We are practicing Vaidhi bhakti, but we are talking about Uttama bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavratam anukullena krishnano shilanam bhakti uttama. Uttama bhakti, topmost bhakti, pure devotional service. One of the characteristics is it is sudurlabha. Durlabh means rare, and sudurlabha means very rare. So pure devotional service like Jagannath Mishra, like Nanda Baba, like Yashoda Maiya, like Shachi Mata, it is not rare but very rare. So my dear friends, pure devotees are very rare. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, among thousands of men, hardly one will endeavor for perfection. And among thousands of men who have attained perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. And who can know me in truth? At another place in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvata. Only a devotee can know me in tattva. Which means a pure devotee of Krishna is very rare. So if we can find such a pure devotee of Krishna, pure devotee of Krishna means that devotee has nothing else in their life. There are 5 types of devotees. Hare Krishna. In our devotee society, there are 5 types of devotees, my dear friends. This comes from Bhakti Vedanta Manor, very beautiful congregation in UK, and they have devised a way of serving devotees. But different devotees need to be served differently. Srila Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, that we have to categorize devotees as Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. And we have to reciprocate with them accordingly. We cannot treat all devotees equally. So all devotees are respectable. All devotees are to be respected. But our interactions with them have to be guided. Srila Rupa Goswami says this in Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction. He says, if someone is a Kanishtadhikari, one should mentally offer respects. One should mentally respect. We should never disrespect anyone. Amanina manadena. We should not expect respect for ourselves, but we should respect everyone. Even if a person is a Kanishtadhikari, we should mentally respect. But if someone is advanced in Krishna consciousness, someone is a Madhyamadhikari. Madhyamadhikari means Prema Maitri Kripopeksha. They have love for Krishna, they have prema, they have Maitri with devotees, they have friendship with devotees, Prema Maitri, Kripa, they preach to the innocent, so they try to benefit them, Kripa, they are merciful to the innocent, and Upeksha, and they avoid non-devotee association. If someone has these 4 characteristics, genuine affection and love for Krishna, Prema, Maitri, genuine heartfelt intimate friendship with devotees, Prema Maitri Kripa, and is very good at preaching the philosophy of Krishna consciousness to others by one's personal example and through words. And number 4, one avoids non-devotee association. One has no taste for wasting time. One has no taste for non-devotional activities. If one has these 4 characteristics, one is a Madhyamadhikari. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Prema Maitri Kripopeksha. Such a person is Madhyamadhikari. So if one is a Madhyamadhikari, one should physically and mentally offer obeisances to such a devotee, and one must associate with such devotees. We should have Maitri, we should have friendship with such devotees. So see, Kanishtadhikari we mentally respect. We mentally respect. We keep a respectful distance. We respect them, but we don't share our heart with Kanishtadhikari. But with Madhyamadhikari, we offer them physical obeisances, we respect them, and we also associate with them. And what about Uttamadhikari? Uttamadhikari is a person who sees Krishna everywhere. Uttamadhikari is a person who never wastes time. Avyartha kalatvam. Uttamadhikari is a person, nama gane sada ruchi, who is always enthusiastic to glorify Krishna, always enthusiastic to chant. Will never say, oh, now enough, I have finished my chanting. Enough, now I am free till tomorrow. Rest of the day I am free now, my chanting is done. No. Uttamadhikari has a lot of taste for chanting. Nama gane sada ruchi. And Vasati Sthale always will at least mentally reside in Dham. They will see some rocks in a front yard of a house, and they will remember Govardhan. They will see a pond or a lake, and they will remember Radha Kund, Sham Kund. Or they will see a river and they will remember Yamuna. They will see the ocean and they will remember Jagannath Puri. They will see flowers by the roadside. Now it is summer and spring, at least in the northern hemisphere. So a lot of flowers. So a devotee sees flowers, will immediately think, oh, I can offer them to my Gaurnidaya. Oh, I can offer them to my Radha Krishna. So pure devotee sees Krishna everywhere, at all times, and doesn't have bad habits. Not that sometimes we see flowers and we think, oh, I'll offer this mentally to my Thakurji, to my Krishna. And then we start thinking, oh, I'm a pure devotee. I saw flowers and I thought of Krishna, I'm a pure devotee. No, not like that. A pure devotee is always a pure devotee. Doesn't have any bad habits, doesn't waste time. Genuinely loves Krishna. So Bhaktivedanta Manor says there are 5 types of devotees, my dear friends. And this we have to hear carefully. First is, who are the Hare Krishnas? First type of devotee, who are the Hare Krishnas? They are innocent people who don't really know what this Hare Krishna. They have heard little bit. They must have read little bit in the magazine. They might have seen devotees sometimes doing Harinam Sankirtan on the streets, book distribution on the streets, but they don't really know what is this all about. So first category of people are, who are the Hare Krishnas? What is this ISKCON? What is Krishna consciousness? That is the first level of devotees. And they should be served in a particular way to be brought closer to Krishna. Second category of devotees, according to our Bhaktivedanta Manor devotee care guidelines, second level of devotees are, I like the Hare Krishnas. I like the Krishna consciousness movement. So now they are a little bit familiar. They know little philosophy that, oh, these people chant, they follow the four regulative principles. Achhe log hai. They are good people. You know, they are vegetarian, they are peaceful people. I like Hare Krishnas. So second category is, I like Hare Krishnas. Third category, but they are not really part of ISKCON, but they are, appreciative. They may even become life members. They may even become life members. They may give Janmashtami donation. They are favorable, very favorable. So I like Hare Krishnas. So if someone comes and gives them prasad, they will say, "Oh, you are Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare." They will take prasad also. They are favorable. Second category of devotees, and they have to be served in a particular way, brought closer to Krishna. Third category of devotees, I am a Hare Krishna. Now they identify themselves as Hare Krishnas. So when they answer their phone, they will say Hare Krishna, because they are not afraid now that what will people think. They will happily say, I follow Ekadashi, I don't eat grains on Ekadashi. So now they are Hare Krishnas. I am a Hare Krishna. They will chant. They will even start wearing a tulsi mala around their neck. They will start chanting. I am a Hare Krishna. Sometimes they may even chant 16 rounds. They will start following the regulative principles. They will give up non-veg, onion, garlic. That is category 3. I am a Hare Krishna. They start following. They read Prabhupada books. They will come for Sunday feast. They will attend their weekly satsang. I am a Hare Krishna. Category 4 is I love the Hare Krishnas. They are my family. That is the fourth category. I love Hare Krishnas. I love ISKCON. I love Krishna consciousness. These devotees get first and second initiation. They are initiated. They go for yatras. They do service. They are completely into ISKCON. They are serious. They will even give classes. They will do many services. They will be in the temple doing services. They will go on book distribution. They will preach. And they will become members of Bhakti Vriksha. They will become Bhakti Vriksha leaders. So now they are advancing. They got first initiation, second initiation. They're chanting more than 16 rounds. So I love Hare Krishnas. They are completely into it. That is the fourth category. What is the fifth category? My mission is Hare Krishna. My mission is Krishna consciousness. Which means there is nothing in their life other than Krishna. There is nothing in their life other than Krishna consciousness. This is our Guru Varga, our Gurujan. And they need a certain type of care also. Like Pankaj Angri Prabhu. In his last days, when he got COVID-19, such a pure devotee, such a great soul. But even he required care. He needed devotees to care for him. So everyone requires care. Everyone requires care, but the care that we give to different devotees is different. And based on these 5 categories, we have to serve different devotees. Category 1 have to be served in a particular way, encouraging them, giving them more information, inviting them sometimes for special programs, Sharad Purnima, Janmashtami, inviting them. So different levels of devotees need different types of cares, and as followers of Srila Prabhupada, we must learn this and try to become expert in this type of service. So now, another incident, very Adbhut incident happened. Ara Adbhut dekhe. What was that? Verse number 9. Sabagrihe dekhe aparupa pada chinha dhvaja vajra ankusha pata kadi bhinna bhinna. So now Shachimata and Jagannath Mishra went inside the house. Nimai got the book and he ran outside to play with his friends. But then that ankle bell sound that they heard was very mysterious. So now Shachimata and Jagannath Mishra went inside the house and they saw something very amazing. What was that? Sabagrihe. all over the house. What was there? Sabagrihe dekhe aparupa pada chinha. They saw footprints all over the house. They saw footprints. What were the footprints? Dhwaja, Vajra, Ankush, Patakadi, Bhinna, Bhinna. These footprints had different bhinna bhinna auspicious markings, like dhwaja, a flag, vajra, thunderbolt, ankush, the elephant goad, the instrument used to control elephant, and pataka, pataka, the banners, and adi, and other auspicious signs. So these signs are the signs on the lotus, symbols on the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, and Srimati Radharani. All these auspicious markings, and these auspicious markings have different significance. For example, dhwaja, or the flag, victory flag, it means that this auspicious sign on the lotus foot of Mahaprabhu or Krishna or Radharani indicates victory to the devotee. Param Vijayate, Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. That we are so much struggling in this material world. We are struggling with our own mind and senses. Who is there anyone who is not struggling with their own mind and senses? I am struggling. So we are all struggling as sadhakas. We are struggling with so many problems around us. So many problems are there around us. Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, dealing with other devotees, dealing with so many natural disasters like coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic. So many of our friends and even Guru Varga, they are leaving us. So very difficult. So there are so many problems in this material world and we are struggling. There is an internal struggle and there is an external struggle. And sometimes a devotee may think it is getting too much. I cannot deal with this. But when we meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna or Mahaprabhu and we see this one symbol, victory flag, it gives us hope that yes, Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Bhaya Charanara Vindare. Bhajahure mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charan. This victory flag gives us hope and confidence that we will be victorious. If we take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, we will become victorious. My spiritual master Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj very beautifully said in one lecture. He said sometimes problems in life, difficulties in life seem like the impassable, unfathomable, limitless ocean. And we are standing all alone on the shore of this ocean. Oh, I have to cross this ocean. How will I ever cross this ocean? It's impossible. But Maharaj said, when we follow the process of Krishna consciousness, through hearing, chanting, serving devotees, associating with devotees, we will see that at the end of our life, we will be with Krishna. We will be with Krishna. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eva shashi. These words are repeated by Krishna twice in Bhagavad Gita to tell us that if you think of me, if you take shelter of me, if you become my devotee, bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eva shashi. Mam eva shashi means you will come to me 100%. You will attain me. And Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj saying, once we are with Krishna, this whole ocean of material problems and difficulties that we had to face, it not only becomes like the water contained in the hoof print of a little calf, but it evaporates. Hare Krishna. Think about that. When we attain Krishna, all the problems that we have had in our life, all the anxieties that we have faced, all the fall downs that we have experienced, all the setbacks, all the reversals that we have experienced, they will cease to exist. The water in the hoof print of a calf evaporates. It will be gone. It will be finished. No longer we will have to think, oh, I had done like that. Oh, I went through that. It will become inconsequential. We will forget all these things. So whatever problems seem like an ocean will not exist few years from now when we die, when we are with Krishna. Provided we are Krishna conscious. Provided we can become category 5 devotees, where Krishna consciousness is everything for us. There is nothing in our life. Nothing in our life. Anybody should be able to come, open our phone, look at our browsing history, look into our heart, look into our minds. There should be nothing other than Krishna. No duplicity. If we do anything in our day or night that we cannot do in front of our spiritual master, that means we are duplicitous. This is very, very important. Anything we do, we should think, my Guru Maharaj is watching me. Can I do this in front of him? If we can speak like that in front of him, if we can do that thing in front of him, then do it. If it's going to please him or her, then do it. But if we cannot, then we should not. We should not do that. And if we do, that means we are duplicitous. Because we will never tell the spiritual master, I did this. That means we are duplicitous. But saralta hi Vaishnavta. Vaishnavta means being very straightforward. So these are the different signs. Flag indicates victory. Thunderbolt. What does thunderbolt indicate? The Vajra, the thunderbolt weapon. Originally it is Krishna's weapon. Krishna gives it to Indradev. He loans it to Indradev for his service. But what is the Vajra? Vajra, so we have lights, right? How do you measure the power of a flashlight? Candle power, candle lights. 100,000 candlelight power, 200,000 candlelight power. That's how you measure the brightness of a flashlight. How do you measure the power of Vajra, thunderbolt? How many mountains it can crush into powder in one strike. It's a very powerful weapon, thunderbolt. It can crush mountains into fine powder. So when we see the insignia, when we see the symbol of thunderbolt on Krishna's or Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, what does that indicate to the devotee? Sometimes by the practice of bhakti, we become very proud. We start seeing that we are better than others. Others are not as advanced, as mature as us. And very subtly, we become proud. But when we take darshan of Krishna's lotus feet and we meditate on the thunderbolt on the lotus feet of Krishna or Mahaprabhu, this thunderbolt is supposed to crush our mountain-like pride into powder. So meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna means to become humble, to give up our pride. Amanina manadena. Amanina means to become prideless, not expecting any respect, prideless. Manadena, and to give all respect to others. So much is there just meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna. There are many devotees, they chant their rounds, meditating on different symbols of Krishna. And there is explanation for each and every symbol. Then Ankush, the goad, the pointed instrument that is used to control the elephant by the Mahaut who rides on the elephant. This Ankush or elephant goad, it is said this insignia, this symbol is there on the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because it indicates to the devotee that our mind is uncontrolled like a mad elephant. The mind is compared to a mad elephant. And when we take darshan of the lotus feet of Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and we see the symbol of the elephant goad on the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, it tells us that if I take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will help me with this elephant goad. Krishna will help me to control my mad elephant-like mind. So by taking shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, by chanting Hare Krishna, our crazy mind, which is like a mad elephant, also comes under control. And in this way, different symbols on the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu have different meanings. Anandite dohe dekhi apurva charana, dohe haila pulakita sajala nayana. Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sri Shachi Mata, when they had darshan of these different footprints of mysterious footprints throughout their house, sajala nayana, their eyes became filled with tears of love, tears of ecstasy, because apurva charana, these footprints were very extraordinary. They had never seen such beautiful footprints. Imagine seeing footprints in your house with all these auspicious signs of Krishna and Mahaprabhu. Tears flowed from their eyes. They were so happy. Pada Padma dekhi dohe kare namaskar, dohe bole nistari mu janma nahi yaar. offering obeisances to the Pada Padma, the lotus footprints in the house. Kare Namaskar, they offered their obeisances and they said, Nistarimu. Now, taking shelter of the lotus footprints of Krishna, we will Nistarimu, we will cross over the material existence. And Janma Nahiya. Now, we will not have to take another birth. Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata said. So much confidence they had in the power of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes a verse from Shri Vishnu Dharmottara, which is one of the Puranic literatures. Tavad Brahmanti Samsare Manushya Manda Buddhayah Yavad Rupam Na Paschanti Keshavasya Mahatmanah. Very beautiful verse. Tavad Brahmanti Samsare. We will keep going around in the cycle of birth and death in this material world. Manushya Manda Buddhaya. The less intelligent people will keep rotting in this material world. Yavad Rupam Na Paschati. As long as they have not seen, as long as they will remain in the material world as long as they have not seen. Yavad Rupam Na Paschati. Not seen what? Keshavasya Mahatmanah. As long as they have not seen the beautiful form of Lord Shri Keshav. Which means once we have darshan of Krishna, then we will not come back in this material world. Kunti Maharani says, taking darshan of you means punarjanma will not happen. I will not have to come back in this material world. Mishra bole shuna vishwa rupera janani घृत परामान randha apani. Jagannath Mishra, he told his wife, Srimati Sachimata. So now they are very happy. We saw that Pulakita, their hair is standing on end in ecstasy. Sajala Nayana, their eyes are filled with tears of love. When they saw the beautiful footprints of Krishna in their house, all over their house, they were very happy. So now what do they do in happiness? Mishra bole shuna vishwa rupera janani. Today is Mother's Day. It is Janani Din. It is the day of the mothers. So we express our gratitude to all the 7 mothers. Our biological mother, Mother Earth, Mother Cow, the wife of the king or the ruler, the Guru Patni, and Mother Cow. All these 7, Mother Earth, all these 7 Jananis we have, 7 mothers we have. We offer obeisances to all of them. But ultimately, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Matsakha Tvameva. Our scriptures tell us that ultimately Krishna, who is Deva Deva Jagat Guru, he is the Lord of all the demigods and he is Jagat Guru, he is the spiritual master of everyone. He is mother and he is father. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Pita aham asya jagata mata dhata pitamaha Vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. Pitaham asya jagata. Mata, dhata, pitama. Krishna is the mother and father and even the grandparents. Krishna is everything. So we offer our respects to our mothers today. Mishra bole shuna vishwarupera janani. Oh, mother of Vishwarup. Vishwarup is the elder brother of our Nimai. Listen. Ghrita Param Anna Randaha Apani. Quickly go and cook first class rice with ghee and offer it to our Shaligram. Ghare ye achena damodara shalagram panchagavye sakale ka ramutane snan. Shri Jagannath Mishra, the father of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is telling his wife Shachimata that quickly go and cook wonderful rice with ghee and offer it to our Shaligram Shila. And tomorrow morning, Sakale, tomorrow morning, I will, with Panchagavya, with 5 auspicious ingredients, milk, yogurt, ghee, Panchagavya, then cow urine and cow dung. These 5 auspicious items, I will bathe our Damodar Shaligram Shila. So the family deity of Shachimata and Jagannath Mishra was a 4-handed form of Lord Narayan called Adhokshaja, very beautiful Murti of Adhokshaja, deity of Adhokshaja, and they had a Damodar Shaligram Shila. So all the devotees who are interested in deity worship and who are twice initiated, who have received Gayatri initiation, all the Brahman devotees, if they have inclination, they should worship genuine Shaligram Shilas. Shaligram Shilas are available only from the Kali Gandaki river in Nepal, Muktinath. So if one has the inclination to worship, then one should worship. And Shaligram Shilas have to be worshipped every day. Every day they have to be worshipped. So Jagannath Mishra used to worship Shaligram Shila. Srivas Thakur had many Shaligram Shilas. In Mahaprakash Lila we read that Mahaprabhu picked up the Shaligram Shilas of Srivas Thakur, sat on the altar and kept the tray of Shaligram Shilas on his lap and began the Mahaprakash Lila. So Srivas Thakur had Shaligram Shila, Jagannath Mishra had Damodar Shaligram Shila, Advaita Acharya worshipped his Narsimha Shaligram Shila. So Advaita Acharya also was a worshipper of Shaligram Shila. And even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Jagannath Puri, he used to worship Shaligram Shila. And those Shaligram Shilas are still there in his house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So in this way we see there are many instances where all the devotees, they used to worship Shaligram Shilas. So Shaligram worship is very much part of our Krishna consciousness movement. And in one of the purports, in the fifth canto, when Srila Prabhupada writes about Bharat Maharaj, in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says that in ISKCON I want to establish the worship of Shaligram Shila. And our Jananivas Prabhu and Pankaj Angri Prabhu, they were experts in Shaligram worship. In 2015, Jananivas Prabhu came to our home, blessed us with his association, and he personally instructed me how to worship Shaligram Shilas. The most important things he told me was worship them with warm water every day, mixed with some rose water, so it's nice and fragrant. You can put some tulsi leaves and bathe them with a conch shell. Shaligram Shilas, massage them with the fragrant oil, preferably with sandalwood oil, and offer them tulsi leaves and flowers every day, and know them to be Krishna. Know your Shaligram Shilas to be Brajendranandan Krishna, and never ask them for any material benediction. Don't pray for any health, wealth. Don't ask for anything material to them ever. He said, if you follow these rules, then you can worship them every day. And he said, even your wife can worship, even ladies can worship Shaligram Shila. There is absolutely no problem. So Shaligram worship is very important. But one has to be inclined. Not that for prestige, I will keep Shaligrams at home, so all the devotees will respect me. I am a worshipper of Shaligram Shila. Not like that. And for the sake of prestige, we should not even get initiated. Sometimes I've seen that I want to get initiated so that I will get respect in the society of devotees. That should never be the mood. Otherwise, our spiritual progress will be impeded. So now just see, when Jagannath Mishra and Shachimata are happy, they are seeing some very happy occurrences in their house, how they are celebrating. They are celebrating by increasing their devotional service. He's telling immediately you cook nice bhoga for our Shaligram Shila. They are reciprocating with us by walking around and doing Leela in our house and leaving behind these auspicious footprints for us to behold. And tomorrow I will give a special Abhishek. Because normally we give Abhishek with water, fragrant water. But to give Abhishek with Panchagavya special, on festivals we do that. So Jagannath Mishra is saying, tomorrow morning I will do. Why not now? Because Shaligram worship is very strict. You have to worship them at a particular time. You cannot worship any time. Not that you start Abhishek, at night. Of course, unfortunately, sometimes I do that. In fact, today only I did. I just finished Shaligram worship and I came for the class. It is 8 o'clock. But that is not the standard. One should worship in the morning. Actually, my Shiksha Guru has instructed me that you should not eat or leave the house without worshipping Shaligram Shilas. Krishna is amazing. He is bringing up these topics today when I have broken the rule. So I am very humbled and feeling disappointed also. But this is very clear. Jagannath Mishra could have said, you cook now and I will do Abhishek now. But it was not a proper time. It must be afternoon or evening. Mahaprabhu has gone out to play. It must be evening time. So evening you cannot touch Shaligram Shila. But sometimes devotees break this rule. Advaita Acharya used to break this rule. We read Advaitacharya used to bathe his Shaligram Shila day and night, it is described. Praying for Mahaprabhu to come. Sometimes devotees, they break the rule. I'm not justifying mine, I am wrong, but I'm saying sometimes devotees break the rule. And one recent example is when His Grace Pankaj Angri Prabhu came back from the Calcutta hospital to Sri Mayapur Dham at 1 o'clock at night. Lord Narsimhadev opened his darshan and gave darshan, his last darshan, his last live darshan to his um, Nija Bhritya, to his personal servant, Sri Pankaj Angri Prabhu, who had worshipped him for so many decades, almost 5 decades of continuous service, Akhanda Brahmacharya, pure celibacy, and such humble dedication to Narsimhadev Bhagwan. And that Narsimhadev Bhagwan gave his darshan. It has never happened in the history of ISKCON. It has never happened in the history of our Mayapur temple. Never. In the 50 years history of Mayapur temple, it has never happened. No one has dared to open the darshan at 1 o'clock at night. But when his pure devotee, Pankaj Angri Prabhu came, our Narsingha Bhagwan opened his darshan and gave darshan. Even Panchatattva gave their darshan to him, their last darshan. After that, Pankaj Angri Prabhu never got a live darshan. Of course, he had the photograph of Sri Narsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj in front of him. But this is very special reciprocation of the Lord with his pure devotees. Very special reciprocation. Breaking such rules pleases Krishna. Narsimhadev did not say, "Oh, I will come out, in the morning, or I'll come out of the pillar in the morning when it is time for puja." No, he just came out. Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam vyaptir cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmana. Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. To prove the words of his devotee to be true, Narsimhadev came, na mrigam na manusham. Ati adbhuta rupam. Na mrigam stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. He came from the stamba, from the pillar in the sabha, in the court of Hiranyakashipu. Stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. And he came as neither human being nor animal. Na mrigam, not animal, na manusham, not human being. He came as Narasimha, half man, half lion. He came. Why? Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. To prove the words, bhasha, of his pure devotee, nija bhritya, to be true. Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. He came. Now, which devotee's words he is trying to prove true? Many devotees. First of all, Chatush Kumar. They said that you will incarnate 3 times, Jaya and Vijay, you will incarnate 3 times, but the Supreme Lord will deliver you every time. So to prove the words of the Chatushku, the 4 Kumaras to be true, number 1. Second, to prove the words of Brahmaji to be true. So Brahmaji said that Hiranyakashipu, you will not be killed by a man, you will not be killed by a lion, you will not be killed by a demigod, you will not be killed by any species, 8.4 million species that I have created. None of them will be able to kill you. You will not be killed in the day, you will not be able to kill in the night, you will not die on the land, you will not die in the air, you will not die inside your palace, you will not die outside your palace, you will not be killed by any weapon. So many benedictions were there to keep these benedictions true. Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. Because even Lord Brahma is a servant of Lord Narsimhadev. So to keep the words intact of Lord Brahma, he came from a pillar as half man, half lion. Adbhuta rupam. Stambhe sabhayam namrigam namanusham. And of course, to prove the words of Prahlad Maharaj to be true. Prahlad said, yes, he's in the pillar also. Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. Narsimhadev came from the pillar. He could have come from anywhere. As Varahadev, he came from nostril of Lord Brahma. As Vamandev, he came from the womb of Aditi Mata. He could have come from anywhere. But he came at that moment when Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he's here. Satyam vidhatum. So Lord Narsimhadev doesn't have to follow these rules. He breaks the rules, he breaks the pillars for the pleasure of his devotees. So he broke the rule for Pankaj Angri Prabhu also. It was very sweet. I liked it very much that they gave the last darshan to Pankaj Angri Prabhu when he came back from the hospital. And he was doing like this from his ambulance bed. Very sweet, very sweet. So in happiness, how do we celebrate? We celebrate by increasing our devotional service. Clearly they said. Bhujilaya teho ghare भूले न अपनी अतएव सुनिलयानुपुरेर ध्वनि. Jagannath Mishra is telling Shachi Mata, why we should increase our devotional service? You cook extra. I will do Panchagada Abhishek for our Shaligram tomorrow morning. Why? I can understand that our Shaligram is walking around the room. That is why we heard the sound of ankle bells. So it was the faith of Jagannath Mishra that our Shaligram Shilas are walking around the house. Our Damodar Shaligram Shila is walking around the house, and these are his footprints. Which means he is not considering Shaligram just a stone. Shaligram Shila has a form, very beautiful form. He has lotus feet. He has lotus eyes. He has lotus mouth with which he can eat. It's very beautiful, Shaligram Shila. এই মতে দুই জনে পরম হরিষে শালগ্রাম পূজা করে প্রভু মনে হাসে. In this way, both of them worship Shaligram Shila with great satisfaction and seeing their innocence, thinking that the Shaligram Shila had walked. Actually, it was Nimai who had walked and left behind those footprints. So, Prabhu mane hase. In his mind, little Nimai was laughing and smiling at the innocence of his parents. Ara eka katha shuna param adbhuta ye ranga karila Prabhu Jagannath Suta. Jagannath Sut, the son of Jagannath Mishra, performed one more very wonderful pastime. So please hear. Our Vrindavan Thakur is saying. Now I will tell you another story, he says. Parama Sukriti eka Tairthika Brahmana Krishnara Uddesha Kare Tirtha Paryatana. There was a Parama Sukrit, very, very supremely pious Tirthika Brahmana. Tirthika Brahmana. He was a Brahmana, a very nice devotee. But Tirthika, he would go from one Tirtha, one holy place to another, one place of pilgrimage to another. He would keep traveling. And Krishnera Uddesha Kare Tirtha Paryatana. Tirtha Paryatana, when he would be traveling from holy place to holy place, what he would do, anybody who met, he would do Krishner Uddesha Kare. He was always searching for Krishna. Always, devotees are Saragrahi. They are always seeking the essence. So he was looking for Krishna everywhere. Oh, is there a Krishna temple here? Did Krishna perform any pastimes here? Always looking for Krishna. That is a mood of a devotee. Shadakshara Gopal mantra rakare upasan Gopala naivedya vina na kare bhojan. He used to chant a 6-syllable Gopal mantra. So these mantras, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, they start with the Bij clean, and it was a 6-syllable mantra of Gopal, ending in Namaha. And he would constantly chant this mantra. Constantly chant this mantra, Gopal mantra. So there is Gayatri mantra. There is a Brahma Gayatri mantra. There is a Kama Gayatri mantra. There is a Gaura Gayatri mantra. There is a Guru Gayatri mantra. These 4 Gayatri mantras are there. They are given to us during second initiation. Total 7 mantras are given. 4 of them are Gayatri mantras. These have to be chanted at a particular time. 3 sandhyam. At the 3 sandhyas. Gayatri, Savitri, Saraswati. 3 sandhyas, morning, afternoon, and evening we have to chant at a particular time window, the 48-minute time window. But the other mantras, like the Gopal mantra, for example, that can be chanted anytime, as long as we are in a purified state. We cannot chant it in the toilet, in the bathroom. We cannot chant it while eating because we are contaminated. Hare Krishna Mahamantra can be chanted. Mahaprabhu himself says in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Ara Vidhi Nahi. There is no rule and regulation for Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We can chant anytime. But the other mantras, like the Gopal mantra, which is very powerful. Gopal mantra is mentioned in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Brihad Bhagavatamrita, this mantra is mentioned. It can be chanted anytime. It can be chanted there is no limitation. You can chant it any number of times, the Gopal mantra. And it is the favorite of many of our acharyas. But of course, the most favorite is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra can itself take us back to Golok Vrindavan. So this Brahman was initiated in the Gopal mantra, 6-syllable Gopal mantra, and all the time he would chant this Gopal mantra. Daive bhagyavana tirtha bhramite bhramite asiya milila vipra prabhura badite. In the course of his traveling from different holy places to different holy places, by good fortune, Daive bhagyavan, with great good fortune, he came to the house of Nimai Pandit. He came to the house of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. कंठे बाल गोपाल भूषण शालग्राम परम ब्रह्मण्य तेज अति अनुपम. कंठे बाल gopala bhushana shaligram. Now this is very important, my dear friend. We have come to the conclusion of our class. Last few verses. So he had two deities. This Brahman, the traveling Brahman, he had two deities: a deity of Bal Gopal and a Shaligram Shila. And both these he would keep in a cloth bag around his kantha, around his neck, all the time. They were so dear to him. And I have seen there is very great personality in our movement. His Holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Maharaj. He is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. I have seen he carries Shaligram Shila around his kantha also, around his neck also. Very pure. He worships Radha Damodar. There is worshipable deities, threefold bending form of Damodar and Srimati Radharani. So Radha Damodar, and he has Dwarka Shilas, Govardhan Shilas, Shaligram Shilas. But few Shaligram Shilas, they are Gopal Shilas around. He carries around his neck. Very special. So this Brahman, he used to carry Shaligram Shila and Bal Gopal deity around his neck all the time. Kanthe Bala Gopala Bhushana Shaligram Parama Brahmanya Teja Ati Anupam. And he had Brahma Tej. He was very effulgent devotee. This effulgence, my dear friends, is not just the color of the skin. Many times devotees think, oh, effulgence means, it's the color of the skin. It's not like that. This effulgence, actually, we cannot appreciate what is true effulgence. It is a spiritual effulgence, and one needs some level of spiritual advancement to appreciate who is really effulgent. निरवधि मुखे विप्र कृष्ण कृष्ण बोले अंतरे गोविंद रसे दुई चक्षु धुले. Constantly he was chanting Krishna, the name of Krishna, and his eyes used to be half closed. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that eyes, when we meditate, eyes should be half closed. And internally, Antare Govinda Rase, internally he was tasting the mellows of Govinda. Govinda Lilamrita. Dekhi Jagannatha Mishra Tejate Tahara Sambhrame Uthiya Kari Lena Namaskara. When Jagannath Mishra saw this Brahman had come as an Atithi to his house, immediately he got up and offered obeisances. Sambhrame, with great respect. Atithi Vyabhara Dharma Yena Mate Hai Sab Kari Lena Jagannath Mahashay. Jagannath Mishra, such a great personality, he received the Brahman in his house following the etiquettes of Atithi Dharma. There is Atithi Dharma, that if anybody comes to our house, we must receive them at least with two things: kind words, and we should at least offer them a place to sit and water. This couple of things have to be done, and we should make them feel comfortable. And the Atithi Dharma, it is mentioned in our Shastras that at least for one day and one night, we should be willing to keep any Atithi, any guest. They may come unannounced, but we should be willing to keep them comfortably in our house at least for one day and one night. The next day they can leave. So a devotee, a person who comes without any notification, without any forewarning, just comes, shows up without any notice, and stays for one day and one night is called Atithi, according to our Shastras. Atithi. Tithi means proper time. Atithi means just comes anytime. So anybody comes anytime, at least for one day and one night, we should be able to keep them in our house comfortably, give them a place to sit, give them their meals at the proper time, and treat them with kindness and respect. That is Atithi Dharma. And our scriptures say, even Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, that we must follow the Atithi Dharma very carefully. Then, okay, it's 9 o'clock, so we'll stop. But this story is really extraordinary story. And we will continue, if Krishna desires, we will continue it next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So with this, I will stop here. But if there are any questions or comments, we can take. So, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. So devotees can raise their hands and they can also unmute themselves if required. So Ramsham Prabhu has a question. Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It's a really wonderful session, Prabhuji. Lots of nectars, full of nectars, some are there. Prabhuji, I do not have much idea about the Saligram Sila. So far, I do not have, and just I have heard. So I was just wondering, and I had a question about Saligram Sila from long time. Like as you said, this Brahmana was also having many Saligram Sila, and once I was attending one of the lecture of Amarendra Prabhu also, he was mentioning something 12 Saligram Sila he is having with him, something, or when he was carrying from India, once he missed the flight, but when he took that Saligram Sila, so he got that flight, something like that. Means my question is related to like, suppose we keep the deity, so we keep deity, one deity like Radha Krishna or Gauranitai or Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani, means one. So multiple, what is the significance of somebody having like 108 Saligram Sila, 12 Silas, or something? If they are different kind of like Dwarika Sila, Narsimha Sila, like Gopal Sila, something like that, that is okay. But if somebody having same Sila, or 12 Silas or 108 Silas, and in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also we have, I think somewhere mentioned like 108 Silas, something like that. So if you can put light, it will help me understanding in that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in Padma Puran and Skanda Puran, it is mentioned, and even it is quoted by Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami in us, that worshipping at least one Shaligram Shila gives very great spiritual benefit to the sadhak. And it is said that if one worships Dwadasha Shilas, 12 Shaligram Shilas, then it has got its own glory. And also, some devotees like to worship 100 Shaligram Shilas or 108 Shaligram Shilas. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami got 8 Shaligram Shilas from Gandaki. So according to Bhakti Ratnakar of Srila Narari Chakravarti, he got 8 Shaligram Shilas. So in this way, there are different devotees, they worship different number of Shaligram Shilas. Srivas Thakur had many Shaligram Shilas, whereas Jagannath Mishra had only one, Damodar. And Advaita Acharya also had only one, Narsimha Shaligram Shila. So the number of Shaligram Shilas is not the main consideration. Sripad Ayendra Prabhu had more than 2000 Shaligram Shilas. But those Shaligram Shilas were given to him by devotees. They said, we cannot take care of the Shaligram Shilas, you take. So he would accept them and worship them, take care of them. So in this way, he attracted more than 2000 Shaligram Shilas and he was worshipping them every day. So the number of Shaligram Shilas is not really the main consideration. The main consideration is the quality of our devotion. We can have just one deity, either a deity of Krishna or Gopal or Shaligram Shila or Govardhan Shila, depending on the instructions and permission that we have received from our Gurugan, and we can worship. The number of Shilas is really not so, this Prabhu is not the main consideration. Even if you have one Shaligram Shila, we can worship with all our love. Or we can worship 8 like Gopal Bhatta Goswami, or we can worship 12 as mentioned in Padma Puran. And there are some devotees that worship 100 Shaligram Shilas or 108 Shaligram Shilas. So the number is not so important. Better to have just one Shila and make that Shila one's Ishtadev and give all our love to that Shila. That is better. Is that okay, Ramsham Prabhu?
Yeah, very okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Tushar Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for the wonderful class. Prabhu, I had a slight question about, okay, this might be slightly controversial. I was debating with somebody from the Sri Sampradaya specifically. I think he was from the Tingala branch. So he was debating with me saying that despite anyone being performing devotional service, chanting, following the regulative principles, he or she might not be able to remember the Lord at the time of death. And and depending on his or her consciousness, he or she might be transferred to a more pious birth with the family, but still not get moksha. But within the process of Sharanagati, as outlined by Ramanujacharya, we give the authority for moksha to Narayan himself or Krishna. So he takes care of it. Like, we don't necessarily need to endeavor to remember the Lord, quote unquote. So it is possible for anyone who takes the process of Sharanagati to achieve moksha in this life itself. So I didn't really have much of a counter at that point. I'm not that well versed in philosophy from the Gaudiya line. So how would you interpret that?
We are the same family as Sripad Ramanujacharya. They can go back to Godhead by following Sripad Ramanujacharya, then so will we, because we are also followers of Sripad Ramanujacharya. We are also Sri Vaishnavas. So there is no distinction. We are one family. We are one family. Vaishnavas means one family. Sripad Ramanujacharya is our guru. Sripad Ramanujacharya is our life and soul. So is Sripad Vallabhacharya. Srila Prabhupada quotes extensively from the Sri Subodhini commentary of Sripad Vallabhacharya of the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. So we are one family. There is nothing. If the Sri Vaishnavas can go back home, back to Godhead by the mercy of Sripad Ramanujacharya, then so will we. Because we are also followers of Sripad Ramanujacharya. We are followers of Jesus Christ. We are followers of Lord Shiva. In fact, we are all Shaivites. We are all Shaivites because Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. And we are Vaishnava Dasanudas. So we are all followers of Lord Shiva. So we worship Lord Shiva, we glorify Lord Shiva. So like that, we are all one family. And as far as going back home, back to Godhead is concerned, as far as moksha is concerned, that is not so important for us. That is not so important for us. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohara. Whatever is the desire of Krishna, he can kill us, he can maintain us. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to pray that na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahaitu ki tvai. Na dhanam, I don't want wealth. Na janam, I don't want followers. Na sundarim, I don't want to enjoy sexual pleasure with the opposite sex. Na kavitam va jagadisha kamaye, and it is not my desire to be known as a very learned person, as a very learned person of philosophy. Kavi. No. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahetuki. I want ahetuki bhakti. I want pure devotional service, uttama bhakti, birth after birth, which means I don't even want liberation. I don't even want moksha. Birth after birth. I have no demands from you, Krishna. I have no demands. That is what Sri Jananivas Prabhu taught me. Don't ask for anything from Krishna. Give him. Give him. Give him. He is ours. He has come to accept service. Just offer service. Offer love. Yat karoshi yad ashnashi yad juhosi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kauntya tat kurushva madarapana. Offer to Krishna. Offer to give him. Don't ask from him anything. We just want to become his servants. The fact that Krishna has come to us in the form of a deity, we don't want anything now. Because he has accepted as a servant. He is giving service. What is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Srila Prabhupada taught. My dear Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Now deity has come. Krishna has come in the form of deity. Now what more you want? You have got the Mahamantra and you have got object of your service. Just serve happily. Dance and sing in front of your Gaurnitai. Offer bhoga to them. Love. Share your tears. Share your joy. Share your sorrows with them. They are yours. So we don't want to ask anything from Krishna. We don't even want to ask for moksha. We are not interested in moksha. This is not a moksha movement. This is a movement of service. The movement of service. And we love all our acharyas. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the Mayapur Gaudiya Math, he established the deity of Sripad Ramanujacharya. He established the deity of Sri Vishnu Swami. He established the deity of Sri Nimbarkacharya. And he established the deity of Sri Madhvacharya. So when Sri Vaishnavas come in front of ISKCON devotees, when the Tattvavadis, the followers of Srimad Madhvacharya, come in front of ISKCON devotees, when the followers of Nimbarkacharya, the Nimbarki Vaishnavas, they come in front of ISKCON devotees, and when followers of Pushti Marg, followers of Sri Vishnu Swami and Srimad Vallabhacharya, the Rudra Sampradaya, they come in front of ISKCON devotees, we see what we have in common. We never ask, what is the difference between Sri Vaishnav and Gaudiya Vaishnav? No! What is the similarity? How we can embrace each other? How we can work together? What is common? What is similar between us? There are so many similarities. We all accept Bhagavan. We all accept chanting the names. We all accept deity worship. We all accept Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana. We have so much in common. Let us discuss Ramayana. Sit! Let me discuss Ramayana with you, my dear Sri Vaishnav. Tell me what Sripad Ramanujacharya is commenting on Valmiki Ramayana. I don't know Ramayana. Please tell me. What is common? What we can share? How we can embrace each other? That is the mood. That is the mood. So very good. If he says that as followers of Sripad Ramanujacharya, we are going back home, back to Godhead, because Lord Narayan has taken responsibility, we should be very happy. We should dance. Yes. And we are your servants, my dear Sri Vaishnav. So if you go back home, back to Godhead, please take me also with you. By your mercy, I will also come. That should be our mood. Is that okay, Tushar Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, this is Vatsala Mataji.
Vatsala Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. My humble pranam. You are the first one to give me that Sri Ramanujacharya's lecture. I never heard that when I was growing up, even though we belong to Sri Vaishnava tradition. I have never heard such a thing from you, not about Sri Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva and all this. I think you also explained to us the 4 sampradayas, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taken 2 principles, essential principles from each sampradaya, and how he incorporated. That is more than enough for us to believe in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What else do I need? Nobody has explained like you did, Prabhu. I have never heard this. Everybody wants to disintegrate all the path. But you wanted to unify everything. You wanted to find the commonality between all 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. Even you glorified Lord Shiva, and that will make anybody to come to Hare Krishna and to believe in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think you are the only one I heard it from. And also, Amarendra Prabhu also gives nice lectures because of his. And I am a fan of both of you. I really heard it from you, and it really embarked some kind of sparks in my system that after all, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is unifying everything. Then where do I want to go? We are reading Srila Prabhupada's book, so I don't have to go anywhere. In Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, I didn't stay in India for that long to get initiation. After I got married, I came here, so it has been 50 years. So I think this is the first time I'm hearing from you, and thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, explaining everything to me so that I can be a firm believer of this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Hare Krishna movement. Thank you so much, Prabhu. My tears are coming to within my eyes. When I heard you speak about Ramanujacharya and all the things, and how he was so humble. And I never heard it even from my father. I didn't know whether I heard it from him. And thank you so much for clarifying and enlightening me in that. And I have my humble obeisance to you. And I'm so happy to be alive to listen to all this. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Vatsala
very much.
Mataji. And whatever I've spoke, Mataji, it is all from the 2005 South India Yatra. It's on ISKCON Desiratory by Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. He spoke extensively on Sripad Ramanujacharya, and everything I spoke was from there. And as far as how we should see the commonality and how we are actually Shaivites, followers of Lord Shiva, I heard that from His Grace Gaur Gopal Prabhu. Personally, he told me that. And so everything I said, the glorification of other sampradayas, that is from Sri Srimad Gaur Govinda Maharaj. So everything is there from Prabhupada's disciples I have heard, and I have just repeated that. Sripad Vallabhacharya, extensively quoted by His Holiness Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj. He is the spiritual master of our Ramsham Prabhu. So Radha Govinda Maharaj extensively quotes from Surdas ji and Goswami Tulsi Das ji and Vallabhacharya, Shripad Vallabhacharya. So all our Gurugan, from them only I got all this, and I'm repeating. But thank you, Vatsala Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I am very sincerely moved by this. Thank you. Appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.
So we have last two questions, Radhika Mataji and then Kasturi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Tandavat Pranams, all glories to Shri Guru Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, thank you so much, as always, to listen Chaitanya Charitamrita or anything that has got to do with Mahaprabhu or Bhagavatam. When we listen from you, it is so nectarian, and we are obviously very, very indebted to you. Wherever I am, I just always hanker for your association and try to join the class as much as possible. And Prabhu, I have a question on karma, if that's okay to ask.
Question on karma?
Karma, Prabhu.
Yes.
So we see these demons, right, Prabhu? When we see these demons on a higher level, say, for example, Hiranyakashipu, he's not just a small demon, but he's a big demon, right? He's the head. And when we look at these people, and I understand the fact that they have accumulated some punya because of which they have gotten into that level, right? I mean, it's not easy for anybody to get into the level unless you have a punya. I mean, you have some punya accumulated into your account. So these people are given that thing. Because of that, they are able to get that position. Now, this also seems contradicting in the sense, okay, they have accumulated good credits because of which they got into that position, but they are in the mode of ignorance. Because of that, they are going to misuse the powers. So obviously, the punya that is given to them is coming back to them as something that is just not going to give them any further positive credits, but it's going to degrade them because of their mentality, because of them being in tamoguna. So how do we resolve this, Prabhu? I mean, I understand in the sense, I mean, even if you look at a terrorist, the terrorist, he's being granted to do that job because of some punya again, but then it is again degrading him and bringing him back to a much worse position. So I was just trying to resolve this question that I had in the mind. So just wanted to clarify what your thoughts are about this, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, your question is that the demons also, because of their previous sukrati, their pious credits, they have certain power, but that's why they have so much influence, but they misuse it, and this is going to degrade them. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu, that's right.
Yes, Mataji. So this is where the free will comes into play, and it is so important. That's why in our Vaishnava Sampradayas, we always give instructions to the mind. There is Mana Shiksha by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also said that in the morning we have to hit the mind with canes, and at night we have to hit it with the shoes. We have to train the mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the uncontrolled mind is the worst enemy, and a controlled mind is the best friend. So therefore, this free will, which is a product of our mind, it is very, very important, Mataji. This free will misuse keeps us bound in this material world. Like you said, it will degrade us. And proper use of free will elevate us. See, when Krishna came to Mathura, he met a washerman. And Krishna told washerman and his friends, me and my brother Balram and our friends, we have come from Vrindavan. So please give these nice garments that you have washed and ironed, and they are very nice, attractive, colorful, because we want to go and meet the king. So we want to be well dressed. So please, can we borrow some clothes from you? So he got very angry at Krishna. He said, "You rascal, you are just a village boy, and you are putting your eyes on the clothes of the royal king, Kansa. You better go and graze those cows in the mountains and forests of Vrindavan. Don't you dare come to our metropolis, Mathura, and try to get the clothes of the king. Out from here. If you don't go, I will call the soldiers and they will arrest you and your friend. Chal, out. But it was very, very disrespectful to Krishna. So this is misuse of free will. And exactly like you pointed out, Garga Samhita mentions who this washerman of Mathura was in his previous life. Do you know who he was? In his previous life, he was that same washerman, that same dhobi who had criticized Lord Ramchandra and Srimati Sita Devi. He had yelled at his wife, "You think I am that weakling Ram who will accept a wife who had spent a year with another man? I will not take you inside the house. Out from you." That same washerman who was the cause of Mother Sita being sent away to the ashram of Valmiki Muni, that same washerman took birth again in Dwapar Yuga. Krishna is so merciful, he gave another chance. Again, I will come to you. Again, I will ask you for service. But again, he blew up the opportunity. So therefore, this free will is always there. Whereas Kubja used her free will properly. Kubja was in the same position, same day, same time. After the washerman passed time, Krishna killed the washerman. He just touched him on the neck and his head was chopped off. This is very funny. So Krishna is asking for garments and he doesn't give garments. He gives bad words to Krishna. So Krishna just comes and touches him on the neck and he gets beheaded. So my Guru Maharaj Radhana Sai Maharaj was asked, for refusing to give clothes, why Krishna beheaded this washerman? So Srila Radhana Sai Maharaj said, well, he was talking to Krishna as if he had lost his head. So Krishna thought might as well behead him. So he was beheaded. But see, Kubja was in a similar condition. Kubja was the maid servant of Kansa. And Kansa was waiting for the wrestling match. He was getting ready for the wrestling match. And the whole, all the citizens, all the ministers were going to be there. Many kings were invited for the wrestling match. So he was getting ready and he wanted his special perfumes. So he could smell attractive. And for that special occasion, for that Dhanush Puja and the Malya Krida, Kubja had prepared special scents, special perfumes, especially for that occasion, for King Kansa. And she was carrying these perfumes for King Kansa. And Kansa is standing there waiting in his palace. And Krishna and Balaram go, and Krishna says, very nice, fragrant perfumes. Can you offer them to me? And my friends and my brother. Now see, Kansa is waiting for those perfumes. It's a special day. And Kubja is the only perfume supplier. Okay. And the worst enemy of Kansa is asking for those perfumes on such an important day. When Kansa is expecting those perfumes, he's waiting. And Kansa's worst enemy, right in the middle of the street, not privately inside her house where nobody will find out that some scents were donated to Krishna. In the middle of the street, Krishna is asking for those perfumes which were meant for Kansa. What a risk. You see, what a risk Kubja took. And she smiled. She said, Krishna, I will give you anything. What to speak of this perfume? My life, my heart, everything is yours. Take these perfumes. And then she told Krishna that, Krishna, you are bluish black. And this perfume, which is yellowish in color, will look very nice. So let me smear this perfume on you. And Balram, you are fair, like a white cloud. So you put these dark blue perfumes. The contrast will look very good. And she smeared those perfumes on Krishna and Balram and gave all the perfumes away to the boys, not caring for herself. You see? So such wonderful devotion Kubja had. Why she had such devotion? Because Kubja was the person who had prayed for Krishna to come. Kubja is Mother Earth. Our Acharyas explained Kubja is an incarnation of earth. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the fragrance of the earth. And therefore, Kubja's business was to supply fragrances to Kansa. And why was Kubja hunchback? Because in the beginning of the 10th canto, Mother Earth prayed to Krishna that I am overburdened by these Kshatriyas. So by the overburden of the too many sinful Kshatriyas, Kubja was bent over. She had become hunchback. And therefore Krishna indicated to her, because you offered all your perfumes to me, because you showed such love for me, such devotion to me, I will straighten your back right now. And just so for the washerman, Krishna touched the neck and he was beheaded. For Kubja, Krishna with the same hand, he touched the chin and just pulled her up and she became straight, beautiful and effulgent. This is the difference between free choice, free will. Proper use of free will and misuse of free will. So we always have choice. You always have choice. And Krishna consciousness means to make right choices in life. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So power will be given to us, but what happens to us depends on how we use that power, how we use those resources. Kubja used her resources in Krishna's service, and the washerman used the resources in Kamsa's service. And what happened to the washerman? He got killed. And what happened to those clothes that he wanted to give to Kamsa? Did he give to Kamsa? No. Krishna took it by force. After killing him, Krishna, Balram, and the friend, they took all those clothes, wore them, and went to meet Kamsa. Which means Krishna will take away everything anyway. Why not give it voluntarily? In the form of death, Krishna will take it anyway, eventually. So this is free will. We have to properly use free will. And by our free choice, Krishna consciousness is a voluntary process. Voluntarily, we should offer everything to Krishna with bhakti. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayasya. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada. So Kasturi Manjari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this beautiful, very inspiring class. So I don't have a question, but I just want to just one reflection and something else. So you were mentioning, and we read that how the Damodar Shila that Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Mata had, and they had that faith that the Damodar Shila actually ran and the footprints are from, and that's why they increased their devotional service. So I'm just reflecting on, like, all of us have, I mean, we have Gaur-Nitai deities, and also pictures are also there. So I mean, and also we hear all the time that deities are actually non-different than Krishna, non-different. So actually every day it should give me more and more inspiration to increase my devotion and my devotional activity, keeping that in example. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this. And also, Prabhu, like, I really want to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, because from you always I hear how to respect even when there are differences, like you mentioned about to see the similarities between other sampradayas and not see the difference, discuss the similarities, discuss Ramayana and with the Ramanuja Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya devotees. So thank you so much, Prabhu, for bringing this point again and again and again and again. And I'm eternally grateful to you for that, Prabhu, because it's so easy to be distracted by, the differences. And I remember Prabhupada's quote that unity in diversity, and how one place he speaks about a bouquet. Like, if the book in the bouquet, the flowers are of the same color, it won't look so good. But if the flowers are of different colors, then it will look good. So see unity in diversity. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And I beg for your prayers and well wishes to be able to actually see in this way and to increase my services more and more, seeing the deities and the pictures at home. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Kasturi Manjari Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. So last, Rakesh Prabhu, please go ahead last. I think you're on mute, Prabhu. Yes. You're still muted. Yes, now you can.
Mother Kubja is also in Ram Leela, like this washerman.
Mother Kubja?
Yeah, like washerman. He was in a Ram Leela as a washerman. Is Mother Kubja is also in a Ram Leela somewhere?
As far as I have read, Prabhu, she is an incarnation of Bhudevi, Kubja.
Okay.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in his commentary to the 10th canto that Kubja is an incarnation of Bhudevi.
Okay.
What I have read.
This is always
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, we will stop here.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.